What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got Contender Series 2021 Week 5 prediction breakdown here, guys. Before I get started, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my Patreon account for the face-off predictions, prop bets, and some combination parlays. We only got 5 fights in this Contender Series, and these 5 fights here they're tough. Sorry for the late post, guys. I just have a new baby, so been kind of busy. Takes like 9 months, so through all those 9 months I've been kind of busy. That's why I've been putting these fights out kind of late too, but I'm trying to do my best to get the fights a little earlier, okay? But these fights here are very risky, so I would advise you not to do any big parlays on this. You know, more do singles. You pick 1 or 2 if you want, but it's going to be risky, man. Okay, I'm going to do my best though. First fights here, we have Rizvan Kuniev versus Edivan Santos. Rizvan here, Sambo base, Sando Wushu, uses striking to set up his takedowns. Will use his striking like spinning back kick. He has nice Mwashigaris, uses hands to set up his kicks. But he will grind though, and like I said, use his striking to look for takedowns and grind, rest you down. Kind of has that Sambo kind of base to him too, right? Forward pressure, got forward pressure in the clinch. Will also strike, then mix it up for the takedowns. Mix up the kicks with the punches, and he's also heavy-handed. Let me see here. He's going to be the more experienced guy here, in my opinion. And he has fought more tougher competition, right? A lot of these guys in this Contender Series, their records are kind of padded, man. So you have to be very careful with that. A lot of the guys haven't fought in the body. So, but this guy here, records, I mean, it's slightly a little better. You got 11-5, 2-0. But even then, you know, it's not because you're 5-0. That doesn't mean you fought in the body either. I mean, the 5-0 guy could be fighting 0-0-0 guys. So, but yeah. So this guy, I mean, he's not too bad. His opponent here, Edivan Santos. Edivan Santos, he will let his hands go, kind of ride his chin kind of high when he's punching. Those are a lot of furious punches, but his chin can be high up. Can get tied up in the clinch, can get controlled in the clinch, can get wild with his striking, like I mentioned, and can get taken down. But all of his finishes or by, I believe, KO, TKOs, and submissions, so he has no decisions there. So this is a guy that finishes all his fights. Take a quick look. Yep, he has 8 by knockout and 4 by submission. Been submitted 1 time, and Rizvan has 3 by decision, 4 by KO. This fight is a tricky one. And this one could go either way, in my opinion. This should be an even fight, because it says here 6'7", but it says on Topology that he's like 6'4". So he's going to be more taller guy, in my opinion, or he should be. Once I watch the face-offs, because I haven't watched the face-offs yet. Like I said, check out my Patreon account, guys, if you guys want to see the face-offs on that one. But he's going to be most likely a taller person here, because he's 6'7", and Rizvan is like 6'4", and most likely he's going to have a reach advantage. And a lot of these Contender Series fights, it's hard to find a reach on the guys. It's hard to find videos, and that's why I say be careful when you're doing a parlays on these fights, because there's not a lot of information on the guys. So, like, this guy here doesn't really show his reach. You know what I'm saying? So, this is a tough one. I'm kind of liking Santos here. I think Santos can edge a win here, but you look at Santos' record, though. You see, like I said, a lot of guys are, you know, they have padded records. His last fight was a 0-10 guy. 1-13, 1-12, 0-0, 4-2, 0-8. The record is just not good. I mean, if you're fighting guys with 0-10, I mean, 1-13, 0-0, you're not really getting a challenge. You know, fighting guys are making a debut in 2020. This guy's first fight. I'm gonna go with Rizvan Kuniev, but definitely not confident in this one. And I do feel that Santos may get the win, because he's most likely going to have the height advantage and the reach. And his striking is, you know, is not bad. but he can get taken down though. And Rizvan has takedowns, and his strike is not bad either. I just feel Rizvan is a little more experienced, a little more well-rounded. But again, it's a contender series, and a lot of times guys come in here and fight differently because they're trying to, make it into the UFC and they have to get a finish. I must say Rizvan by decision, but I'm not confident, guys, in this one. And I do believe that Santos can win. But Rizvan by decision, guys. All right. Next fight here, we got Lucas Almeida versus Daniel Zellhuber. This is the next tough one here, man. This is a tough matchup here, man. It's gonna be a good matchup too. Both guys are undefeated, 12 and 11. Lucas Almeida here, he hasn't fought since 2019. All his finishes, he has no decision. So every single fight of this guy just finishes. So 0 decisions for him. And I think his opponent might be the same too. Yep, 8 by knockout and 4 by submission. Lucas Almeida here is a very experienced guy, man. He's coming from a kickboxing record, a kickboxing base, BJJ brown belt. Has like a kind of a Muay Thai kind of skill set there. Walks you down. He's very aggressive, a lot of forward pressure on him. He throws heavy leg kicks, mix up the hands with the kicks, mix up the kicks with the punches also. He can get taken down though, but he will scramble up back to his foot, and he will also look for the takedowns on you and look for submissions too. So this guy, in my opinion, on the entire card here, I would probably say, in my opinion, this guy is a more well-rounded guy and the more experienced guy, in my opinion. This guy is very skilled. His opponent here, Daniel Zellhuber, is going to have the 2 inch of height. But like I said, it doesn't show the reach though. So a lot of times, you look up these fights and it's hard to find the reach, it's hard to find the fights because it's contender series. And a lot of guys, they're not that experienced, right? This kid here has the potential. He's a young kid, 22 years old. But he can get put in bad situations, and he can get hit with punches, he can get backed up to the cage, especially when they lay the pressure on him. And a fighter like Almeida, he likes to pressure forward. So Daniel doesn't do good under pressure. When he gets put under pressure, he will more likely throw elbows and throw knees in the pocket to kind of keep you off of him. But he's going to be the taller fighter here with a longer reach. But the kid looks good though. I mean, he's pretty well rounded. But I feel Almeida, is just a little bit more experienced here and a little more of a seasoned fighter with his kickboxing record. And I just feel Almeida can just walk him down and close the distance, because with Almeida's skill set, he's not going to stay on the outside with his kid, because his kid has a long reach advantage. And I know age is a number, it's 22. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's still growing and still learning. But then with Almeida, he has experience, and he's been there and fought guys with the reach like what this kid has. So, but this kid is very explosive. He throws rangy, a lot of body kicks, a lot of leg kicks, but he can get sloppy at times and he can get over aggressive. And like I said, you can close the distance on him and you can take him down and you can hit him with shots and hurt him. And from a fighter like Almeida, I mean, Almeida is a very, very skilled guy, man. I mean, in my opinion, I feel Almeida is the more skilled fighter in this card and the more experienced guy here. He can take this fight anywhere if he wants to. So this is the next tough one here, because Daniel could win because of the ranginess. And, the elbows and knees, the height and reach can play advantage here, but the experience, man. And I just feel Almeida is more of a seasoned fighter here. So I'm going to go with Almeida here by KO TKO, guys, in the second round. Okay. Next fighter, we got Aaron Jeffery versus Caio Borralho. This is the next tough fight here, man. I had a hard time just finding footages on some of these guys, man. I mean, Aaron Jeffery here, he's going to have, he says 74-inch reach, but like I say, a lot of the stuff here is wrong. I think this guy's like 76-inch reach here and 6'2" height. He trains with Daniel Cerrone and Strickland. And a lot of the UFC guys, he trains with them, right? He was on the last Contender series there, I believe, back in, I Actually, he was in the 2019 Contender series, and he lost to Brandon Allen in the first round by a rear naked choke, right? He got finished real quick in that fight. With Jeffery here, he can be hittable. You know what I'm saying? When he's starting out the fight in the first round, he can eat a lot of jabs and get hit with a lot of punches. He's kind of a slow starter. It takes him a while to warm up, right? But then eventually he put that pressure on you, and then he would start walking you down and start landing a bunch of punches, like a fury of straight punches on the pocket, right? A lot of elbows, a lot of dirty boxing. He likes to tie up and throw a lot of elbows in the clinch, a lot of knees, and he usually look for the finishes. And this guy's a kind of experienced guy. This is the next guy in the card that's kind of experienced too. Also for Sean Brady also. Right? You guys know Sean Brady's in the UFC, right? And he's undefeated, I believe. He's 14-0. He's fighting Michael Chiesa. Okay. So this guy here is not too bad, but the fact that he can eat jabs and he's hittable. I mean, against his opponent here, Caio. Hopefully I pronounced that right, or Caio. Caio Borralho. This guy here doesn't look bad, man, and he's pretty well rounded. He will look for the counters of the strikes, and then he will look for counters of the submission. He has a quick 1-2 on the pocket, just similar to Jeffery. Jeffery also has a quick 1-2 on the pocket too. He seems to have like a Machida kind of flow to him, kind of like a Kyokushin kind of vibe to him going. He's going to be the quicker fighter here with a decent movement. So this is a guy here that stays on the outside and then range off on you, and he's going to be the quicker guy here, you know, so he can close the distance quick and move out quickly, and his ground game is not bad either. A guy like Jeffery is going to be the slower fighter here, but Jeffery, in my opinion, is going to have the more experience than Caio. But it's a tough one to call. I mean, I could see this going either way too, guys. I mean, this one I'm definitely not confident in it. Just the movement though. Fight starts standing up. Jeffery has wrestling and he will look for takedowns, but Caio, you know, he has a decent takedown defense, and then he will push for the submissions too. Tough one to call, man. I'm gonna go with Caio Borralho here for the win. But man, I'm not confident in this one. I definitely can see Jeffery pulling off the window, just by using his wrestling maybe and kind of closing the distance, kind of pressure. But then that's if he can't even pressure Caio, because Caio is gonna be on the outside, moving around and picking the shots and looking for counters. And like I said, he's going to be the quicker fighter, and Jeffery don't take his head off center line. But I'm going to go with Borralho here, Caio Borralho, by KO TKO in the first round, guys. But not confident, because Jeffery could edge it. Alright. Next fighter, we got MANUEL GAXHJA versus Chris Duncan. This is probably going to be one of the easiest fights to pick here, in my opinion. I'm probably more confident in this fight than the rest of the other fights in the card. MANUEL here. MANUEL has the padded record. His record is really padded, man. I mean, but he has a karate, kind of a Kyokushin kind of base of striking to him, like spinning back kicks, axe kicks, a lot of mawashi-geris. He seems kind of well-rounded. We look for takedowns off of the strikes. So he uses striking to look for the takedown, or he will strike with you, and when you're trying to take him down, he will sprawl and then kind of put you down to the ground, right? But most of his techniques here look like it's mostly kicks, and his boxing to me is not that good, so he mostly relies on his kicks and his takedowns, right? So this fight to me is probably going to be the most easiest pick here on this card. If you look at his record here, man, he has the most padded record here. 1-2, 0-0, 1-1, 0-2, 0. Like, his record is really padded, and he hasn't fought nobody. And he's fighting a guy that's 7-0, and he's 7-0. Like I said, you could be 7-0, but who are you fighting? He's fighting guys that are making debuts. So he's 5-0 fighting guys that are making debut. He's 6-0 fighting a guy that's 1-2. I'm not saying that the guy can't win, but take a look at Chris Duncan record. Chris Duncan, I believe he was in Bellator. He fought a 2-0 guy when he was 3-0. He beat him. He fought a 5-7 guy. He fought a 14-5, fight at 6-3, and he has an amateur, a big amateur. I mean, this is the easiest fight to pick, and not just by the record, but by the skill set. If you look at Chris Duncan here, he has a lot of forward pressure. mixes up his punches with his kicks, and he's pretty well rounded. I mean, the guy can take this fight anywhere. He can take it to the ground, he can submit you, he can stand up with you and trade with you. Looks like he has more of a Thai style, but he has hands. He has a better hands than Manuel does. So 6-1, he has 6 by KO, and Manuel has 3 by KO, 2 by submissions, and 2 by decisions. Yeah, for this one, just off of footages of videos I watched, I'm more impressed with Chris Duncan here. And that's not just the record, you know, that's just them fighting. I mean, from what I see in footages. And then if I look at the record, going by record, I like Chris Duncan's record is better. All right, so I'm going with Chris Duncan here. And I'm going to say Chris Duncan by KO TKO, guys, in the first round. And this is the most easiest fight for me to pick. And I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say KO TKO in the first round. And this is a confident pick for me, guys. All right, this maybe might be the only confident pick for me on this card. Last fight here on the card, we got Łukasz Sudolski versus Igor Poterya. Man, it's a hell of a name. Łukasz here swings kind of wild, kind of get into brawls, kind of dirty boxing the clinch, but he's durable. He will look for the takedown. The takedowns look like he's more of his base. His grappling is more of his base. He's heavy-handed. He can hit you with one shot and he's out. He have that one-hitter quitter. Keep a high pressure on you. And like I said, he's more like a kind of grinder. So he will push forward and dirty box, put you against your cage and take you down and ground and pound you. And also he will stand up and land strikes and knock you out with it. So this is a guy that can take the fight anywhere. He has an 8-0 record. And you look at his record too. I mean 3-1. His record is not that great either, but I mean the other guy's record, you know, it's kind of worse than his record. But I mean, a lot of guys' records on this card is very padded. So look at Igor record here. Igor record is even more padded. 0-0. A lot of 0-0 fights. 2-0. He has 11-5 here. I mean 11-5, 5-2, 17-18, 0-1-2. Like, but this guy is 19-2. Look at Igor here. Igor can get taken down, he can get tied up in the clinch, kind of have a padded record, can get backed up against the cage, can get grounded out. But he will let his hands go and his feet go. And, you know, if you give him the range, you give him the distance that he wants, then he will set it up from the outside. It looks like he want to fight long range. He's going to be 6'3", and they don't have the reach here. Just 6'3" is his height. So like I said, guys, a lot of these fights here on this card, I know you don't know the guy's reach or nothing like that, and it's hard to find footage. But this guy needs the range though. And with his opponent here, Łukasz is going to close the distance to him. And Łukasz fights good in the pocket. He can fight on the outside. He can take this fight anywhere. I know it says 19-2 and 8-0, but I'm more looking towards more of Łukasz winning this fight here, guys. I just feel Łukasz is just more of the grindy fighter. And even by the record too, I just feel that Łukasz has a better record also, even though Igor has more fights. But I'm going to go with Łukasz here for the win. And I'm going to say Łukasz by KO TKO, guys, in the first round. And I'm not confident in this one because Igor could even win. I mean, it's possible. This guy has a 77-inch reach. And Igor, I mean, he doesn't have his reach, but he's 6'3", so he could have the same amount of reach or maybe more. He could have maybe a 78 or 76, but it shouldn't be that far off. But I'm liking Łukasz for the win here, guys. I just feel like he's more the craftier guy here, and the guy that's more durable, you know, that's gonna look for takedowns. I mean, if you look at Igor fights, he get taken down. At times he looks kind of sloppy. So I'm going to go with Łukasz, and I'm going to say Łukasz by KO TKO in the first round, guys. Let's take a quick look at the odds here, see what we're working with. Odds going to be crazy in this card. Quick look at the odds. Okay, they got Rizvan, -335. -400. Wow. I mean, I have Rizvan. I'm gonna have Rizvan winning the fight, but man, that's freaking high as hell. odds on him is too high, man. Take a quick look here, guys, at something real quick. Yeah, the odds on him is so high because I do feel like Santos can win this fight, guys. So for Rizvan to be 335, that's crazy. Cause I do feel like Santos can win because I'm not sure about this one. I see Santos fight, and you know, he has power in his punches. He can push forward. He can get takedowns, but he can get taken down himself. So maybe that's why, you know, it's like 335. But I'll be very careful with this one, guys. The odds in this is I feel the odds is off. Cause I feel like Santos could win. So be careful with this one. Daniel and Lucas. They got Daniel at negative 2220 and negative 286. So they're liking Daniel here. I'm actually liking Almeida. I feel that Lucas is the more skilled guy here, man. I feel Lucas Almeida is the more skilled technical guy here. And like I said, with Daniel, he does have the rangy and he have the kicks, and you know, he's a young kid, and he has a lot of hype on him too, I think. So that's probably why the odds on him is so high. But I will be careful with it because I do feel that Lucas Almeida can win this fight. So I think it's a little closer, man. This fight should be more of a close to even fight because Lucas Almeida is very experienced. So I feel Daniel is too high of an odd. So maybe the fight should be like even. This fight should be an even fight. So be very careful because I do believe that Lucas could win. All right, the odds is off on this one. Jeffery and Caio Borralho. This fight is pretty much close to even, which is about right. So they kind of seen it like we're always seen it too. They have Aaron Jeffery as a favorite, which, you know, I feel Jeffery's a little more experienced, but speed advantage is striking, and you know, and then the well-roundedness for the submissions and ground defense, you know, can go either way. So I don't disagree, but I'm liking Caio Borralho for the win here. But Aaron Jeffery's a favorite, but it's not a big favorite, so it could be a little bit closer. But maybe before the fight starts, it could get closer. Chris Duncan and Manuel. Wow, Chris Duncan is bananas. Negative 550. Negative 600. Like I told you guys, this is the fight that I feel more confident in, and this is the highest fight on the card. I mean, the highest odds on the card. Yeah, I do feel like Chris will beat Manuel. Yeah, so I don't disagree with it, but like I said, don't parlay too much. Don't put Chris in too much parlays. As a matter of fact, don't even parlay this. Just go singles in it. But I do believe Chris should win, and I have Chris as a confident pick. But he's high though. He's negative 550, negative 600. That's high. But he should win the fight, and that's my only confident pick there. So I don't disagree, but be careful with it because the odds is kind of high in him still. All right. Igor and Łukasz Sudolski. They have Łukasz Sudolski here as a pretty good favorite too over Igor, which like I said, I don't disagree too much, but I mean, I'm told when it comes to Contender series, the fights are close and the odds are kind of high. I do have Łukasz Sudolski winning. Him at 235, I think it's kind of high. It could be. Lucas could be maybe like 170, 160. I do believe that he should win this fight. You know, it's kind of like close to even, but I mean, not so much. Maybe Łukasz Sudolski is a favorite, like he is. I do believe that he can beat Igor. Just like similar to Chris, I do believe that Chris would beat Manuel. You know, so that's the reason why Chris is like 390. So, man, the odds in here are high. Yeah, so I don't really disagree with the odd on Lucas, but you know, he should win. But be careful though when you parlay in there, or if you're gonna parlay, which I advise you not to parlay it. Yeah, so that's about it, guys, on the 5 fights here. The fights that I disagree with is the Rizvan Kuniev. I'll be careful with that one. I'd say that is super high because Santos could win. The Daniel and Lucas, I'd be careful with that one too, because I have Lucas winning, but I can see Daniel can edge it, but Aaron Jeffery and Caio is kind of an even fight, kind of close there. Chris Duncan, he should win. I have him as confident. And Łukasz Sudolski, he should win, but the odds on him is super high too. So yeah, guys, it's a very tough card, man. So be very, very careful. The fights that I probably would say I would maybe a parlay or the more safer play is Łukasz Sudolski, Chris Duncan. Yeah, Chris Duncan and Łukasz Sudolski. These are probably the two fights that I would say could be more confident picks out of all the fights here. The other 3 other fights here are risky. They can go either way. Alright, guys, so that's my prediction. That's my breakdown there. Check out my Patreon account for the face-off picks. I also have some prop bets in there too and some combination parlays also. I'll be dropping the Bellator very soon, maybe by tomorrow. And also the UFC, I'll be dropping that too. Bellator is going to have, let me see, I believe it's MVP. It's going to be rematching Douglas Lima. So I'm going to be dropping that one, and also, which is 13 fights on that card. And also the UFC that's coming up in 4 days. That's going to be, okay, that's going to be Thiago Santos versus Johnny Walker, which is only, 13 fights too. So both of these cards got 13 fights in them. All right, so I'm going to be working on that one too and try to get that out to you before Saturday. The UFC is on Saturday and the Bellator is on the 1st. The Bellator is going to be on the 1st, which is on a Friday. Alright, so that's it, guys. Check out my Patreon account, subscribe to this channel. One love out to everybody. Keep on kicking, and